meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
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 Roll call, please.
Allen. Here. Green. Here. LaFleur.
Here.
Mistrovich.
Here.
Reindell.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Warren.
Here. Is everybody here? We move on to approval of minutes for the city council meeting from June 19th. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Support.
No, motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion on the motion and or the minutes? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to audience comments, which we don't have any this evening. So unless somebody does show up, I will not be going to the audience since there's nobody here. We move on to adoption of agenda. Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes to the agenda. Item number 5, and I'll mention when we get to it, due to the grant requirements, will be a roll call vote.
Okay. Michael, remember to remind me. Okay. City Council, any change in the agenda? Motion to accept the agenda as presented be in order.
Make a motion.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. There's no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have 7 items this evening for consideration. The first one being consideration of second reading and adoption of ordinance number 156-19, the rezoning of 35600 Division Road, owned by Henry C. Van Haverback family. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to give second reading and adopt ordinance 156-19, which would amend the official zoning map and rezone approximately 0.43 acres of property from public, semi-public to B2, which is downtown business. The property is located at 35600 Division Road, directly next door to the school bus garage. The property to the east is zoned B2. This was first approved or recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, and then council at your last meeting gave introduction and first reading.
Has there been any public comment since
No,
the first reading? Very good. Is there a motion in order?
I'll make a motion to give second reading adoption of ordinance 156-19, which amends the official zoning map and changes zoning of property located at 35600 Division from public, semi-public to B2 downtown business.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion?
More of a question, once this goes through, has heard anything back on the demolition?
We have, as I've discussed previously with council, the city will be demoing a building on Main Street. We'll also have this building as kind of an alternate that the contractors can bid on. The bid documents have been prepared by the Public Service Director, and I'll get with him either to get them on the Mitten website either by the end of this week or Monday or Tuesday of next week. And then with the anticipation of having the demolition in August.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 2 is consideration of approving resolution number 2017-7 vacating OW Street. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider adopting resolution 2017-7, a resolution vacating OW Street. The city received a request from St. Augustine Church to vacate this street as part of their long-term planning process that they're undertaking. The church currently owns all properties that adjoin OW Street, and it's their intention of taking the houses along Gleason down there And their long-term process is to shift the school towards Gleason Street and have the parking to the interior of the site. There was kind of a overview of that long-term project included in your council packet. And even currently, all of the properties that street services are owned by the church, and so we're essentially maintaining their driveway currently, and so administration sees no reason not to vacate.
Very good. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2017-7, a resolution vacating OW Street.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Kind of exciting that the St. Augustine's School Church is looking into the future as far as building a new school, and that'd be great. That's good news for Richmond. Very good news. And if anybody out there knows what OW means, I know the Historical Society has put that word out there. Nobody seems to know what it means. And somebody said it was old woman, because there was an old woman that lived on the street. So that's why it was called capital O, capital W. Now that's, somebody actually came up with that. So anyhow, if there's somebody out there that knows what OW Street, how it got its name, we'd love to know. Maybe we could give them the sign. We'll take the sign down.
There you go.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3 is consideration of on-street parking removal for the Richmond Rummage and Relics. Mr. City Manager?
The city council is scheduled to consider a request to remove parking from a portion of Monroe and Parker Streets in conjunction with the Richmond Rummage and Relic Sale. After the Junk in the Trunk Vintage Market held in April, the city council and Kathy Oswald, when she came to one of our meetings, talked about ways to kind of alleviate the congestion, in particular right there near the parking lot, and to open it up a little bit more for people to be able to move around. The administration met with her, and our recommendation is to remove parking from the west side of Parker Street between Monroe and Water, and remove parking on the south side of Monroe Street from Parker through 35364 Monroe Street from Friday, July 28th at 8 a.m. through Saturday, July 29th at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to remove parking from the west side of Parker Street between Monroe and Water Streets, and remove parking on the south side of Monroe Street from Parker Street through 35364 Monroe Street from Friday, July 28th at 8 a.m. through Saturday, July 29th at 5 p.m. for the Richmond Rummage and Relic Sale.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Discussion. We ran a parade from the corner of Parker and Monroe. We staged there. And looking at your map, I'm just wondering if we couldn't take out, and what we used to do is put sawhorses is all we did, for like the first 1 or 2 spots on Parker, so that people can turn there without having to swing out. So if you're going northbound off of Monroe, coming from Main Street,
Okay.
so you're going west off of Main, you come down to the corner of Parker and Monroe. If you go to turn right, which would be north onto Parker, what I witnessed was cars that were parked
Okay.
right up tight on both sides.
So kind of kitty corner from where we have the parking removed.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, that way it makes it much easier for those vehicles to get around.
Just there at the corner to
Yeah.
kind of open the corner up more?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need that in a motion, do you, or?
We can handle that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Otherwise, I think that's gonna take care of some of the huge congestion that we had when we had the big surprise.
Yeah, it's definitely gotta help.
Spring.
It's
Yeah.
going to help a lot.
Also, in talking to Kathy, obviously with this being a 2-day sale, she thinks it'll spread the crowd out so that it's not everyone coming right at Saturday morning. You're gonna have kind of the people that don't work able to come on Friday, and the people that work will come on Saturday, and she's hoping that it'll spread the traffic out the 2 days too.
Okay, okay. How are we going to post that, or are we going, I know there's a couple of residents in that neck of the woods there that do tend to park on the street.
We'll do up signs just like we do for the festival or for
Okay.
the Romeo to Richmond race. We post that section in there for the Romeo to Richmond race.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do it that way than
Yeah.
to kind of, post it any other way, so.
Yeah, okay. Any other comments, questions? Hope they have good weather. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Okay, consideration of bid award street maintenance contracts. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider awarding bids for the street maintenance contracts. There were two components, one for asphalt patching and the second for pavement marking. The asphalt patching, we received two bids, and administration is recommending the low bidder of Peak Contracting. The pavement markings contract was spread into two actual divisions, one for kind of the long lines on Division and Gratiot, and then also a separate section for kind of the specialty markings, the crosswalks and the stop bars. And so of those, administration is recommending that the Division A of the project be awarded to zebra striping, and that the Division B, which is the long lines, be awarded to RS Contracting. It's not part of the bid, but when zebra striping comes out to do the special markings, we'll also get a price from them to do the new full court basketball courts over at the park.
Very good, very good. Okay, we need a motion to accept the asphalt patching bid.
I'll make a motion to award the asphalt repair contract 2017-SR-2 in the amount of $50,000 to Peak Contracting and expenses charged to the appropriate line item and fund.
Support.
What's been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this? Again, low bidder. And they've done a number of,
Yes, number of patching contracts.
Years and
in the
years of-
a lot of road projects long ago, and then a lot of patching contracts recently,
Yeah.
so they have experience.
very good. Any other comments, questions? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We also need to have a motion to accept the bid on pavement marking. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to award Division A, special markings of the pavement contract, 2017 PM-1 in the amount of $2,690 to zebra striping with the expense charged to the appropriate line item and fund.
Support.
What's been made and supported. Any discussion on this one? Again, they've done work in the community also. that
Yes,
we've been
they've
happy
had
with.
a lot of our special marking contracts
And low
recently.
bidder again, so. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. And we have one more motion here that is needed for the pavement marking, and it's called longitudinal markings. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to award the Division B longitudinal markings of the pavement marking contract 2017-PM-1 in the amount of $2,872.50 to RNS Contracting, with the expenses charged to the appropriate line item and fund.
Support.
What's been made and supported. Any discussion on this one? Again, as you said, that they've done work in the city before also. so. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 5, consideration of approving resolution 2017-8, authorization to enter into a grant agreement with the state of Michigan for new voting equipment. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider approving resolution number 2017-8, which will authorize the city clerk to sign the grant agreement with the state of Michigan for the purchase of a new voting system. Each county's been meeting to develop which system they're going to go with, and in April, Macomb County decided to enter a contract with Electronic Systems and Software to purchase the new voting system. This is the same company that they received our current voting system from. And we've talked about this in the budget. We had it last year's budget, and it rolled over, and we budgeted for this year to account for the expense. However, the state has come through with a grant that will offset the cost, which is roughly $2,000 per precinct. We have 2 precincts and then an absent voter precinct for the larger elections, so it will roughly save the city, the state grant will save the city $6,000.
Very good. Very good. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to authorize the city clerk to sign the grant agreement with the state of Michigan for the purchase of a new voting system.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any comment? Actually, we'd like to thank the state for actually funding something that they're mandating. Yeah. Any other comments? Being not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. I'm sorry. You know, he wrote it down. I have it written down here, and I also rolled it down in great big letters right there. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at that. It's a mental block. Roll call, please.
Green,
Yes.
LaFleur,
Yes.
Mistravich,
Yes.
Rindell,
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Motion passes. I'm gonna have to get something made. It's a steel that says roll call. Set it right down in
I
front of
was
you.
say piece of steel to hit you or something.
Something, yeah, something, I'm not sure. Okay, item number 6 is consideration of board appointments. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider making appointments to the Library Board, Planning Commission, and Recreation Board. All vacancies have been published in the Voice. For the Library Board, we received an application for reappointment from Mary Lou Berg. For Planning Commission, we received a application for reappointment from Rich Weinert. And from the Recreation Board, we received an application for reappointment from Susan Keel.
Thank you. The first one will be Library Board. Is there a motion?
I make a reappointment to the board, to the library board of, I'm sorry, Mary Lou Berg to the library board for a 2-year term with the expiration date of June 30th, 2019.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any discussion? Is there any way that we can make that a 4 or 6-year term? She got away from us once, didn't she?
Right, yeah.
After many, many years of serving, and she came back, and she's been back since, so we really appreciate the fact that she's up again. It really helps over there at the library. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. And I would ask that you would confirm my appointment of Rich Weinert to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term.
I'll make a motion to confirm the mayor's reappointment of Rich Weiner to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term with an expiration date of June 30th, 2020.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? He has done a great job. He brings some unusual talents with him. Sometimes we can sit there and we're thinking about what we'd like to see, and he'll draw it while we're talking. And then he holds up the piece of paper, and it's quite often it's exactly what we're talking about, and it you know, you can see it, then you can believe it. You know, you see it on paper, but you don't see the drawing. You know, and I really appreciate those talents that he brings to the Planning Commission.
And he's been a great asset on the Streetscape Committee from the Planning Commission side
Yeah.
of it also.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Any other comment? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Against? Motion does pass. We have one more appointment for the Recreation Board, 2-year term. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to reappoint Susan Keel to the Recreation Board for a 2-year term with an expiration date of March 31st, 2019.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion?
With a few of them, are there some openings now that some didn't re-up, or?
Usually it takes a couple months, sometimes
To get
even though
them
we
back.
mail them an application, we kind of have to remind them to get it turned in. So I believe on those boards, they're all full, as long as the people do reapply, and I think most of them are.
I know Rex meet next door, maybe pound on the door a little bit.
Yeah.
what we've got there is, we've kind of been lacking of jumping on when the actual date is up, because I believe in the charter it says you serve until such time somebody else is appointed, so they're legally still on the board.
That works too.
Unless we get a resignation. But no, we've been very lucky at having people, usually, like John said, Karen or somebody will get a hold of them within, the month, or like tonight, we'll be seeing them after the council meeting is over with. We will be meeting with the Park and Rec, and we can squeeze the two that haven't put their names in. But I've talked to both of them, and they both indicated to me that they definitely were coming back. So, summer, it might be a little tough getting them to do some paperwork there right now. So anyhow, okay, we are still talking about that motion. Susan's done a great job, of course, on the Parks and Rec. She's been there, I think she said 3 terms now. But she brings a lot of talents also to the Parks and Recreation, and also volunteers quite a bit for the
library.
events, and does a nice job there. So we appreciate everything that she's done also. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We thank all 3 of them for signing back up again to help the city get to where it wants to be. Item number 7, the last item for consideration, is consideration of appointing a council liaison to the Recreation Board. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider the appointment of an ex officio member on the Recreation Board in accordance with the Recreation Board bylaws. Mayor Ricks is currently serving as the ex officio.
Okay. I would continue to serve. Is there anybody else that would want to serve?
I'll make a motion to reappoint Mayor Ricks as the ex officio member of the Recreation Board with an expiration date of March 31st, 2018.
Support.
Motion been made and supported.
I'd like to thank him for his continued service on that board.
Well, thank you. I enjoy that board. Any other comments, questions? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to city manager's comments, sir.
I have nothing tonight.
Oh, great. That's because he's got another meeting immediately following the closed session we're going to go into, and Parks and Rec is probably waiting on us. Council comments. Rob?
Nothing, sir.
John?
Nothing.
Emily?
Nothing.
Jamie?
Nothing.
Dennis?
Well, no, nothing. Nothing.
Michael?
I'll break the trend. Yeah, just one thing. Last month, I attended the SEMCOG General Assembly meeting. I want to thank the council for appointing me to serve as our delegate with the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. Also, our city manager joined us. He's the alternate. And it was a good meeting. This was the second General Assembly that I went to. And before the meeting, I had a meeting with the representative from SEMCOG who wanted to make sure that us as a city and city council are using their services to their full effect. So I met down, I got a lot of information from them. They're looking at potentially coming out and just giving us a presentation, a brief presentation on what's available. So I told them that I would bring that before us and try to figure out what the best time to do it. They said they'll take anywhere from 3 minutes to however many minutes we had. I didn't know if enough time would be done here, maybe have them come to a workshop.
Yeah.
Like when
Definitely.
we have something too, just to take us through. Because we have a lot of information. And also, since we talked about getting a grant earlier from the state, they have a system, and John has access to it, of a grant finder that you can plug in, and it shows you all the grants that are available. So I thought that was very beneficial. So hopefully we can take advantage of that.
Yeah. Would our next one be October? I know we have one in July 17th.
Yeah, October, yep.
Why don't we, if everybody would like, have that presentation from SEMCOG at the October?
Sure.
Very good.
Great. Yep, that's it.
Although
Thank
we
you.
don't know what the date is on that yet.
That's all right. Well,
Yeah, they sounded very accommodating. Whatever date we give them, she'll come out. She's very ambitious and gung-ho about that.
Good,
So,
very good.
Great.
Okay. And I'll go to the calendar very quickly here. Today being July 5th. Cable Commission will be meeting on the 11th at 7 o'clock at City Hall. The Planning Commission will be meeting at 7 o'clock on the 13th at City Hall. The next City Council meeting is at 6 o'clock at City Hall. And immediately following that regular city council meeting, we will be having our quarterly workshop meeting right here at City Hall. The new EMS Smart building on 32 Mile Road, the groundbreaking there is at 4:30 on the 18th. And the EDC, will they still be meeting?
Yes.
Okay. The EDC will be meeting on the 20th at 7 o'clock right here at City Hall. The second of the concerts for the summer concerts that are sponsored by the Senior Helpers will be at 7 o'clock at the City Park. That's on the 20th. And then a correction on our calendar. We have, on our city calendar, we have the 22nd, we have Historic Villages Open and the Community Garage Sale. And actually, that has moved so that we have a great big weekend on the 28th and the 29th of July. Get it on your calendars. That's the weekend that we're going to have the citywide garage sales, the community garage sale at BB Park, and also the rummage and relic sale, both on the 28th and the 29th. Also, the Richmond Ride, I believe it's called, that is being sponsored by McLaren Hospital.
McLaren.
And to find out more about that bicycle ride, contact our Parks and Recreation at 727-3064 for more details. And that's it. Is there anything else we need to come up with on the calendar at the moment? Being not, we will move on. We do have a closed session this evening. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion to convene into closed session in accordance with Section 8C of the Michigan Opens Meeting Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended, for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement as requested by administration.
Support.
What's been made in support. And to make that clear, that is contract negotiation with the communications department here. Is there anything else that we need to talk about here?
Nope.
If not, a roll call would be in order.
Lafore,
Yes.
Mistravich.
Yes.
Rindell.
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
We'll convene in closed session.